So Sean Murphy, he was more of like an independent comic writer, and he was brought on to do this because DC Black Label, that this was the first series in basically the DC Comics offshoot that was going to cover like more serious topics. And like DC Black Label, like they were going to allow to curse. It was going to be like directed towards a older audience. And Sean Murphy, kind of his more independent stuff, he seemed like the perfect candidate to kind of start that off. He kind of became successful. He wrote this comic series called Punk Rock Jesus, where it was basically like Jesus Christ was cloned and he's in the modern day, and he basically becomes like this punk rock anarchist. So he's a guy that, you know, he has left-leaning thinking, I would say. Right. So obviously when you're viewing Batman, who, you know, that's what Batman is. He's a renegade cop. He's someone who he's on the side of law enforcement, but he does not follow any of the same rules.
Well, truthfully, he's like a little more moral than even police, right? Because doesn't he not? He doesn't. He doesn't
kill anybody. Yeah. I mean, yes, in the main comic series, which is also what's important about this one is that it's not in Batman's main continuity. Right. It's what's called an Elseworlds comic. Yeah. Meaning,
explain that a little bit.
An Elseworlds comic means that it's characters that well-established characters, but it does not take place in that character's main continuity.
Meaning their
backstories have been different. Meaning that the dynamic between different characters can be different. There's a big thing with in this comic. It's kind of talking about how Batman has kind of been over the edge for a while. He's been getting way more brutal with criminals. And in the main Batman comic book series, one of his Robins, he's had multiple people have been Robin. One of his Robins, Jason Todd, is murdered by the Joker. In this one, when Joker becomes sane, they ask him, like, did you murder Jason Todd? Because in this continuity, no one knows what happened to him. They assume the Joker killed him, but they don't know. And he's not sure because he's been crazy for long, like a lot of his memories are messed up. And then it's revealed, like, he ends up remembering. He's like, no, I didn't kill Jason Todd. I let him go. He just didn't want to come back to you, because he sees that you're going down a path where you've been going around with zero accountability, with no consequences to you going out at night and brutally beating up criminals, and I don't want to be a part of that anymore. And in this series ends with Batman surrendering some of like his bat technology to the Gotham police, realizing that like everybody needs to be held accountable for their actions. When there can't be people outside the law. Renegade cops cannot exist in real life. Dirty Harry needs some accountability for the fact that he's going into the streets and shooting people, you know? And that's really what the problem is that for a lot of police officers, there are no repercussions for their actions.